Gede banget.
Nugget ada Diluc. Diluc.
Apa-apa lah biarin.
Diluc.
Kelek ketutupan tapi ya.
Gak apa. Gak apa. Pokoknya dikecil.
Gedean.
Wes.
Bohong banget tulisan kan ngerjain archon tapi gue muter-muter bunuhin.
Nobushi. Nobushi. Wow.
Saja deh.
Gue pernah nggak sengaja ngerjain archon quest. Tahu tuh kayak sekarang mus lewat terus gue kayak bukannya gue lagi ngerjain questnya Al Haikal anjir.
Kayak gue juga pernah deh. Gue juga nggak sengaja kayak gitu.
Bukan Nahida aja masih dari world gue kagak pulang-pulang. Nahida.
Oh, story quest Nahida.
Iya. Yeah.
Gede bocil.
Ohio. Bocil Ohio. Yes.
Mager banget.
But what if Tavadis frowned?
All right, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. Ugh, if only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about him, this seems like the kind of thing he'd know about.
Lewat. Looking for me?
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Ako ba? Sawada.
Ako British anjing.
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started
British Japanese guy
examining the evidence. Sorry.
So Wada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kind of lacking.
Bruh, me too.
Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatarasuna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
Oh, lu baru main ya kagak?
I see. My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Yes.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive or a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
No.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the sword maker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, The records also mention a kabuki mono. This
Kimono?
seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger. Someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This
Sumpah,
kabuki mono lived in
makin lama gue
Tatara
dengerin
Suna
dia,
for a
makin
while
bingung
before disappearing without
dia
a trace.
orang
And
mana.
shortly afterwards, as Akaba
Ini ya.
mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this
logat
strange person goes
bingung.
missing.
British yo.
Then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow, did I get lucky!
Wow.
Stop shouting!
Wow.
This part's important. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the government records office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatara Suna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he
Niwa?
went missing too.
Sorry. Siapa yang namain anak lapangan? Apa sih halaman? Ya?
Kenapa?
Niwa.
Niwa.
Wait, so there are
Niwa?
two missing
Iya,
people
Niwa.
in the story now?
Niwa
That's
halaman
right.
kan?
What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of
Apa
history
iya?
to it.
Huh?
Have you
Iya.
ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Oh, the swordsmiths?
Kan Niwa Tori ayam.
Like Ishin art and
Iya.
so on?
Garden anjir.
Wow,
Garden.
yes.
Aman.
You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So
Garden,
basically,
garden.
this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art. Something then seems to have happened in the
Niwa kan
Kaidahara
rambutnya
clan,
itu
leading
rambutnya
to their
coklat ada
downfall.
merah-merahnya.
I don't know the
Siapa?
details, but taken in
Niwa.
light of everything else
Yor.
going on around that time, it makes you
Niwa,
wonder
anjir,
whether it's all
Yor.
connected somehow.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
Good heart.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
Tahu lama banget.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabuki Mono was not a human,
Hey yo.
but a puppet.
A puppet?
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
Kenapa kamu kayak gini banget ya Allah?
Mau marah.
No.
Mau marah.
Paimon just meant,
Enggak. Paimon diem.
how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Suruh baca buku. Ih, mager banget.
Please take a look.
Ih, panjang banget.
Oh, and please read my essay draft as
Udah
well.
telas ada. Ya.
Ya Allah, suruh baca lagi.
Esai.
Selesai dong.
Ya tuh.
Sawada was
Mager
encouraging
banget.
me to follow his more creative
Jurnal.
approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't
Daftar
think
pustakanya
explaining everything
mana?
away with
Tahu ini daftar
mysterious
pustaka mana,
forces
parah
will
banget.
cut it. Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
Oke.
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get. Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay!
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it? Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Kalau tahu apa yang mana yang ngomong, gue
If you
skip
ask
aja.
Paimon, Akaba should just
Mager
pick a
banget.
different topic. There must be as many...
Ih, parah banget. Kurang ajar. Lewat.
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like... the balladeer! No,
Yan
it
ang ilang.
can't have been. He got locked up. Oh,
Ang
quick,
ilang.
let's catch up and see.
Kita kejar anak hilang.
Bocah. Ngapa ya? Bocah. Ngapa ya?
Bocahnya.
Lu lah yang Nahida. Nahida ngejar Wawan.
Bocah nggak kayak. Oke.
Kenapa build karakter kalau bisa membangun rumah dengan tangga?
Rumah tangga. Tangga rumah.
Enggak lah, rumah tangga susah cuy, mending rumah pakai tangga. Twing. Ini diambil weapon itu, parah. Weaponnya sharing. Weaponnya patungan. Iyo.
Don't fear.
Kokomi botak.
Dia adanya. Nahida.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida, bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah! It's him!
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey! What are you doing in
Ayo,
the
berat lagi.
sanctuary of Surasthana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up? I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me. A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down? But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the Balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you, considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position.
Issue.
Plus, he's a former harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond.
Wait a second. Former? You mean he's not a harbinger anymore?
I take no
Recehan.
pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Damn.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be. Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't listen to him!
Shut up.
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We
Ayo,
still have
kenapa
time.
kamu berisik?
Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on
Kenapa
how well we
imun?
manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good.
I just made
Go
it
now, and keep in
healthy
touch.
and it doesn't
Nahida,
taste
are you serious about this?
Ngomong apa sih?
Herbal.
Yes, I
Herbal.
have my reasons for this decision.
herbal tea.
In fact,
Bro.
I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
For me?
Yes,
Godam.
as I told you once before, there's
For me?
information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh,
Damn.
yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Mm-hmm. You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and should be able to find it more quickly.
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him!
I understand.
I
But
do.
sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all.
Hidin.
Our minds have connected
Ada
several
ini ya,
times before.
arkon yang paling guna ya. Yang lain
There's a
gak
corner
guna
of my
banget.
heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of
Yang
being
lain
all
pengen
alone in the
pensiun.
dark.
Satu
searching for the
satu
one
pengen
candle whose
pensiun,
light still
satu pengen
burns.
mabok-mabokan doang.
As Sumeru's deity, it is
Yang
my
guna ini dong
responsibility to be on
satu
guard
lagi
against the
sad boy,
balladeer.
sad girl.
Satu
But as
lagi
someone who
gaptek.
counts you as a friend,
Yang satu lagi
I
gaptek,
want to do something for you.
yang satu lagi
If
nggak
this
keluar-keluar
deal with
kamar.
the balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it. It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a
babysitting.
fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former harbinger. If you could accompany him,
Dudukin banget.
it would put my mind at ease.
Yes.
Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside. Great, thank you. Prepare
Bocil.
yourselves.
Let's
I'm
go
going to
going to the
transport you
quantum
into
realm, guys.
Irminsul.
Wow, it looks pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Gue bisa gerak. Ya bunuh diri. Yang nggak bisa lompat. baru gue bilang. Ih nggak mau. Parah banget. Nggak ngapain. Nggak bisa lompat.
Jatuh bisa jatuh.
Jatuh bisa.
Dorong.
Wih. Oh, orangnya. Oh. Sekarang musuh.
Iya, dorong.
Lari aja nggak bisa, parah banget. Langsung dialog kan? Iya kan langsung kena dialog.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Gue suruh dudukin lu.
No way a prisoner gets to be so smug.
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release, so maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul.
Kayak ini.
It is an
Kayak kakak
environment like
beradik.
no other, and the
Kayak
most
Adam
important
abang.
place in
Kulut
all of
dulu.
Sumeru.
Nah hidam.
Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Entry.
Oke, Mom.
Fine, let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's
Okay.
cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
Entry.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going.
I
Give you
suggest
some time to mentally
move.
prepare yourselves.
as a Valorant reference.
Ugh,
I
the
suggest
snark on this
you
guy.
didn't.
It's unbearable.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
Congrats.
Wow. So this is the Soul. Ooh. Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Soul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat.
Ajaib.
Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why
Oh,
is it that Paimon just wants to
ini
be
tuh kayak
instead of everything he says?
ini Google Drive.
Google Drive.
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Ini cloud,
we
ini
will now
cloud.
proceed to the heart of Soul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Soul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen?
Ditawa
What are you
bocah.
smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
Dia ngomong gitu, gue jadi pengen kabur. Di mentok, ya.
Ya jalan anjing.
Ya,
Ditungguin itu cuy.
Gak bisa kabur, gue gak mau.
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Soul. Be careful not to touch them.
Kepoon. Gak bisa kepoon.
It looks the same in every direction.
Kenapa teleport mulus?
Kill issue.
Teleport lagi, ya
No
kan?
wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Kira ada jalan.
We're here.
What a huge tree!
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
The Balladier's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
Iya masa mau mati.
Siapa tahu bosan.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Rumin.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Ih, pakai DC.
Yes.
Ngomongnya
I
pakai
also
DC.
invited Paimon to join.
Tuh kan?
What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
Bro, kayak lagi main Valo tapi sambil nge-DC juga gitu kan? Atau enggak di party?
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends.
Karena
There's
mesti
nothing
tim
wrong
kan
with
berarti
us talking
dong.
like
Iya,
this
iya,
once
iya.
in a while.
Tadi tim
Paimon's
sekarang
never
party.
tried this before. This is great. So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladier's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Bocil ya. Emang begitu.
Ngomongin top
As I've told
bottom
you
track.
before, there's still
Iya.
some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are
Dia
clear
bottom
as
frag.
day to me.
Dia bottom frag tapi
but that
toxic.
he has yet to understand.
Lu dong.
Ih gue.
Today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Gue bingung deh. Mereka kan lagi ngomong pakai telepati ya.
Smart and attentive as
Tapi kenapa
always.
tangannya tetap gerak juga gitu? Buat apa kan nggak?
Apa? Apa pakai telepati daripada pakai televisi?
So, you made contact with
Jadi
that
penyiar
part of
itu
his
entah.
mind.
Penyiar begitu.
Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is
Ding ding ding
today.
ding.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro-Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is
Siri.
still unexplained.
Alex.
Most of the information we have now is just from
Alexa
people
bisa
filling
ganti
the
nama nggak
gaps with their imagination.
Ya bisa.
At least that's what they thought.
Terus ganti suara Nahida juga.
Oke, kalau kayak gitu nggak bisa dong.
Oh?
Ya.
How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gesse got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
Woy, lo ketahuan
What
sama
makes you
teammate.
think we're talking to each other?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
Ih, mau banget diomongin.
Of course you
Kayak
do.
lu
You
anjir.
can't
Oh,
have
iya.
a prisoner knowing too
Mirip banget
much.
gue ya.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait, how did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I
famous.
didn't know a few things about you. Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
Yul. Oh my
This
god, pohon
light.
kecil.
It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Hey,
Saplings.
don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
Dishes daw mas karami.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain
This
this is
is-
worth the risk? We are talking about
Oh,
Tatara
I get
Suna's
it.
furnace,
Sorry,
after
berat.
all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so?
Bang.
Well, since you
Niwa,
insist.
Niwa.
It's...
Whoa!
Wow. Crazy.
I have been in Tatarasuna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality.
Oh, ini si Niwa.
As has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and
Yes.
indeed everyone
Yes.
else. Under your leadership,
Oh, ini yang
Tatarasuna is
yang
a
iniin
warm, welcoming
Skaramus.
place, like a giant
Ya kan?
village.
Ini bukan sih?
Temen,
People
iya,
are
iya, temennya.
gainfully
Bestinya,
employed.
bestinya.
Their lives
Kok dia
have
mati ya?
purpose.
Dia kenapa
Yeah.
sih
They
lupa?
are motivated. As
Tahu.
I understand, the Raiden
yeah,
Shogun
masalah
has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatarasuna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with
Injay,
crystal marrow
banyak.
as a raw material
Katanya
has
banyak.
since
Udah
flourished,
4.
giving rise to generations of swordsmiths.
Oh
Some
iya kan emang
world-renowned,
swordsmith ya.
others
Kalau nggak ada
unknown.
pisau, kalau nggak ada pedang malah.
All passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade.
Smith.
That is why you
Every
accepted
Smith,
the proposal
Will
brought
Smith.
to you by myself and Akai.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us.
Oh ya, Tatara Suna itu furnace.
I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma. And it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what
Oh, ya
do
lo
you
ketahuan.
mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected. Because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently,
Well,
as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher.
my
I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop the act! We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment.
oh no. Ewan.
A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
Oh no. What?
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguise myself
Bilang,
exceptionally
ngapain
well,
bawa golok?
at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this? Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
Right.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet. Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
Subtitle. Gasping for air, gasping for air.
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
Oh.
What a beautiful way to see
Ngomong
the
gitu udah
world.
tewas.
It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target.
Udah mati
You
ya Allah.
simply lost to
Ngomong
something
aja.
more powerful than you could ever hope to
Udah
defeat.
tewas itu, udah tewas.
I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa, already dead.
Oh my
What a pity.
Ini terus
Chester, I've
berubah gitu.
completed the task you gave me, creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was.
Jester siapa nih?
I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
you alright?
Dottore. Dottore.
Oh, lu. Kenapa? Harusnya sedih.
Good. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine? But why do we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you
Kenapa
find it
dah? Dia
difficult to
stupid
understand.
atau gak mikir atau
Perhaps
gimana?
he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the kabuki mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as the mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it had protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor
Holy
killed an
moly.
innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Dottore, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright?
Ya udah senyum-senyum aja.
That's a scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend. It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Teyvat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Khaenri'ah. Apparently, Khaenri'ah was her first destination when she arrived in this world. Plus, she only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The heavens responded?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Khaenri'ah, and lived with your sister for a time. I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me. Give me your hand. Can you hear my voice inside your head?
You're trying to brainwash.
No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past? Done.
Huh?
Ayo orang.
What the? What happened? Paimon only saw you hold hands for a second.
Nothing. I was just thanking him for helping me. So long. I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up!
Yang
Didn't you say not to go running off?
apa sih? Yang abis ngebunuh, yang abis melawan Karam.
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again. From this day forth, the names Balladeer, those who died in Tatarasuna because of me, deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Balladeer! Balladeer! Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow.
Gue juga sebenarnya udah maaf.
Oh no, he's
Gimana?
really gone.
Oh,
Mau
can you hear me?
karakternya bagus-bagus.
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened just now. I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nahida.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
Mana keluar dari pon.
Anjir.
Gampang keluar dari.
We're out! And we're at, an inn or something?
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you. I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nahida, will you be okay?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before? He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible! Right! You can't just rewrite history! All that stuff happened already in real life! It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it! So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Oh, Paimon's so confused. Huh? Ah!
Why?
Sorry, Paimon accidentally... It's the Balladeer's fault for causing Paimon all this mental stress.
Paimon main.
But erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Irminsul? Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working. Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too? There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next? Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. How about we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna collapse of anxiety here. Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. Munchak grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushrooms and Drayan chili chicken.
Yes.
Oh, also Adeptus Temptation.
Ya Allah, sampai pagi. Oh, nggak ada yang tidur.
What do we... What was Paimon supposed to be doing just now? Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name though.
Oh ya lo hilang.
Melotot. Kaget.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers.
Baru dia
Was it
omong.
something Paimon said?
Dia omong.
So, the
Matanya
Balladeer.
melotot.
Is that someone's name? Cause it sounds like a nickname or something.
Ya.
Sumpah itu rumah dinasnya Traveler kecil banget anjing.
Kenapa?
Rumah dinasnya Traveler di Sumeru kecil banget anjing.
Emang.
Okay, sure. Where are we going? Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Ayo kita ke Inazuma. Ini dia. Karamus.
Rasanya ini dah. Rumahnya Al-Haitam modelnya sama, isinya lebih banyak anjir.
Ya. Pakai dukun. Kan roommate-nya kabeh. Jadi lebih gede gitu dalamnya.
Architecture 100 anjir.
Too slow.
Ah, it's been a while. Of course. Go ahead. No. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. Very well. I'll tell you what I know once more. The once renowned Raiden Gokudan, comprised of 5 branches. Amenoma, Futsu, Ishin, Hyakume, and Senju. The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed and perfected their craft until they became 5 distinct traditions. Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time, only the Amenoma branch kept its art alive. But fortunately, Kaede Harakazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now, 2 clans remain of the original Gokudan 5. If my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin blade.
Oh yeah,
Already revive.
Paimon remembers that
Your
now.
duty is not over.
They learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden
Saiznya
Gokudan
mana?
then too. It seems like such a...
That,
Hilang.
my friends, is a tragic tale indeed.
Revive mandiri anjing.
In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans' demise, but never the cause. Only recently, when the question was on my mind, did I ask Kaede Harakazuha about this. He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokudan, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. It is a dark and sorrowful tale. The Raiden Gokudan were the targets of a murderous rampage by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene, hoping to prevent a disaster. Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day.
Oh, udah diganti ya ini
Was the
selalu
armory officer.
sama Owan.
His surname was Niwa, though he had family ties to the Kaedehara clan. Knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives, Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The furnace quickly stabilized, but
jadinya source bilang.
neither of them made it out. The smith's death, though
Bukan Will
heroic,
Smith.
dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphaned son was left to fend for himself, and grew up deeply resentful at the world. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty shogun for her apparent indifference towards his father's death, and he hated everyone who had done nothing to try and save him. Powerless and destitute, the only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery. Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 years ago, the then head of this family reached the end of his wits. He could bear their fate no longer, and yet he could do nothing to change it. Finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought to vent his pent anger and shake the very foundations of Inazuma's forging industry. In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan which he belonged to. His goal was absolute, the devastation of all of the Raiden Gokuden. But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back fiercely, and they did not spare his life. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose they were the lucky ones, under the dire circumstances.
Aku ceng.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Telepon terus kayak
Pada suara
Halo, karena ada Mario.
di rumah Mario.
Kazuha?
Masih ada Abel.
Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact.
Say hi to the stream.
Over some tea. He seemed well. My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right?
Gue dari kampus.
Your expression says it all. You can't hide it.
Dari
Ayo kesini.
Wait, traveler.
lagi streaming babangnya.
Behind you.
Lagi streaming gue.
Sambil streaming sambil naik motor dong biar keren.
Ngomong sekali lagi, coba sini ngomong sekali lagi. Enak banget ngomongnya.
Apa sih nih gue streamingin lu datang sini. Gue gantiin dari sini. Bisa nggak gue login?
Kagak lo ke rumah gue sini.
Asli itu pas gue denger itu kayak sushi.
Not how streaming work gue.
Ya itu kayaknya Ali pada
Salah.
Iya.
Pas dulu. Terus
Abil mana,
gue
Abil?
login. Ini Abil.
Abel.
Abel. Sama lu.
Apa?
Tadi hujan di rumah gue, males.
Marahin Bil, gak solid nih. Gue aja dari Depok datang, masa dari Bekasi gak
This
datang?
is the Yashiro Commission's
Bruh.
headquarters. So,
Ini maaf-maafin ya. Internet gue lagi bagus dengan gue streaming.
Emang di sini gak bagus? Oh jadi lo ngatain rumah Maria internetnya gak bagus?
Emang bener.
If you're looking for the commissioner and Miss Kamisato,
Kenapa
I'm
marah-marah
afraid
kucingnya?
timing is unfortunate. They're not here right now.
Justice for
are
cat.
they out on business?
Itu kucingnya marah-marah gara-gara lu nggak datang.
And Miss Kamisato is standing in
Udah gini
for
dah,
questions
lo
in the
kalau gue
commissioner's
ke sono,
place.
gue dikasih apaan?
If it's
Gue
urgent,
langsung sono.
you're welcome to wait inside until they get back.
What do you think?
Kasih apaan?
Shall we go in?
Kebersamaan.
Kan gue rebahan.
Dikasih teman dan kehidupan, anjir lo nggak punya kehidupan banget streaming.
Alah.
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it.
Maaf ya.
But seeing as you're so close with the commissioner and Miss
Gue
Kamisato,
streaming kalau
I think it
wifi
should
gue
be
bisa
okay.
doang aja. Enggak.
Heading in then. Thanks.
Ya.
Kalau beli tiket?
Kenapa lo lebih mementingkan streaming daripada temen?
Tadi hujan.
Is there something
Tadi hujan
Hujan,
enggak?
ini nggak hujan.
Ya tadi.
Ya
Sekarang udah.
tadi kan, sekarang gimana? Gua aja tadi hujan, terus sekarang gua tetap datang. Gimana sih?
Oh my god. Oh,
Oke.
Of course, traveler. Yes,
Jauh ya,
I
Dan.
know
Kalau
you
gue deket,
are.
gue udah di
Miss
sono.
Kamisato
Jauh.
has told me about
Oh,
you.
gue juga 12 kilometer nih dari...
Gue nggak 12, gue lebih.
cuman pas kita masuk kayak
12 tuh, batasnya dari pasar minggu deh, yang berarti sekitar 16 gue.
Udah sama berarti.
Ya udah, berarti seharusnya lu effortnya sama kayak gue.
Kenapa ngomongin effort itu kalau orang gue mager?
Ya makanya itu, gue tidak punya effort untuk temen sendiri. Gue debet mulu.
As
Terus
for
gue
the
ketemu lagi.
commissioner himself, well, you
Emang
know,
ketemu, lu
busy
tahu
as
umur.
ever, that
Dan
much hasn't changed.
bodoh amat.
Although he does seem to be
Anjing.
So pretty much business as usual in the Yashiro.
Maaf ya Aisyah, kamu harus mendengarkan aku
very
berdebat.
much so.
Nggak apa-apa, aku bahagia.
Kamu juga kesini Syah, ya Allah. Kenapa Peter?
Kalau Aisyah ke sana, gue ke sana.
Aisyah please lah.
Nggak mau.
Got any more questions?
Dam lo curang banget sih, tolak ukurnya Aisyah. Kenapa ke gue? Kan gue dari Depok, Aisyah mah dari Jakarta Selatan.
Iya kan, ini kan gue lihat yang lebih dekat. Dia kan padahal lebih dekat kan daripada kita berdua. Kalau dia jalan, gue jalan.
Ya kayak gitu dong, kalau ada yang lebih jauh jalan, seharusnya lu malu kalau lu nggak jalan. Gimana sih?
Iya kan, tapi kalau sama lo sama.
Yang
Jadi gue nyari, gue kalau ukuran yang lebih ini aja, yang lebih pendek. Yang lebih pendek, itu lebih.
Maksud gue dong.
Maksud gue bukan pendek. Itu bukan pendek ukurannya.
Backhanded anjir, backhanded.
I mean it. Whenever the commissioner dines in,
Temenin gue
always
makan.
joins
Di
him. I always find myself
makan.
at
Soalnya
most
nanti
relaxed
bakal
when I'm
kekir ya. Kan gue
sitting
kantin
to
ya. Kan gue
them, listening to them
Kan jam berapa sih?
chatting.
Jam 3.
The commissioner
Lu
has such a
masih
busy
setengah
schedule
3.
that he doesn't always
Gue
have
jam
the
3 ada Zoom anjir.
chance to take his meals at home.
Ayo,
But given
ayo,
the opportunity,
ayo
he
ke sini.
always prefers
Ke
to
sini.
Kalaupun gue kesana, gue mau nungguin ini dulu. Abis selesai gue jahitin, ntar gue warnain, terus tinggal dijemur, gue tinggal.
Oh,
Kalau mau.
the commissioner is so
Ke
fond of
sini.
fun
Ke
company.
sini.
They
Ke
get to
sini.
talking about
Ke
you
sini.
sometimes
Ke
too, you
sini.
know.
Ke sini.
Always
Emang sampai jam berapa,
very
Wens?
fond
Apa?
tone.
Emang sampai
The
jam
way
berapa?
one would talk about
Gue nyampe
people
sono jam
and
4
friends
aja.
around whom one
Ya udah nggak apa-apa. Kita juga baru mau kesana jam 3.
Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well.
banyak sumber daya alam dan
Mau tapi mager, lo ngerti guys?
Together and
Gue isi bensin dulu, gak ada duit.
talking about people they've
Ya udah,
met
gerak
and
dulu. Bensin lu
experiences
berapa?
they've had.
Bayarin bensin gue.
Always get a
Tergantung
mention.
berapa.
Bayar 50.000.
It's been many years
Ah, mahal,
now
skip.
since the late
Udah lo mau ngasih gue berapa?
Mrs. Kamisato passed away.
Goceng.
Much has happened in the Kamisato
15
clan in that time. As someone who is old
Cian Adam
and
tinggal
gray
90.000
enough
banget.
to have watched
Ya,
their son
kan
and
gue
daughter
tambahin
die,
15 jadi 105.
makes me so happy to see them meet a dependable friend whose company
Gue
they
lapar banget
enjoy
asli.
so much. So, in the future, if
Emang ada
you
siapa aja
ever
di sana
do have
sekarang?
the time, please know you are always
Nah, nggak tahu
very
dah.
welcome.
Ya di sana udah siapa aja? Jawab pertanyaan gue dulu. Udah siapa
Oh,
aja?
udah pin gue ikut.
Always
Di belakang kamera satu orang.
Of
Berempat.
course, you're
On cam.
always welcome.
Kalau udah pin gue ikut.
Lo mau ke petrolnya jam berapa? Gue setengah jam ke sono ngap.
Oh, gue tahu. Kalau ada Willy gue ikut kalau ada Willy.
Lucu, sedikit.
Ya udah
terlalu
bentar,
sebenarnya.
udah bentar nih. Gue keluar dulu nih dari game.
Kayaknya ada.
Tunggu ya. Paling lama 3.30 udah di sini.
Anjir.
Gue 3.30 ada Zoom.
Ya udah.
Udah bentar gue matiin streamnya dulu. Ya udah streamnya udahan.
GWS buat anjir.
Kalau pencet.